Did you know? Because Super Smash Bros. Melee was planned as one of the first games for the Nintendo GameCube, it was specifically designed to highlight features that weren't doable on the Nintendo 64. This is why the game's opening sequence is a high-quality full-motion video. The N64 wasn't capable of producing such a long, high-quality pre-rendered video. The developers at HAL even worked with 3 other production companies in Tokyo to make Melee's opening sequence as outstanding as possible. Melee was in development for 13 months, and the game's director Masahiro Sakurai had no holidays and cut short his weekends to work on the game. He even went as far as to say his lifestyle while developing Melee was destructive. The original Super Smash Bros. Was more of an experiment with not much at risk, but with Melee, Sakurai felt pressured to deliver a greatly improved game. Sakurai and his team's efforts paid off. Even after the release of Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Sakurai still proudly proclaims Melee the sharpest game in the series. With Melee, the developers initially wanted to replace the character Ness with Mother 3's protagonist, Lucas. They chose to stick with Ness in consideration of delays, but both were later included in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Marth and Roy were originally intended to be Japan-exclusive characters in Melee, but fans showed their desire to play as the Fire Emblem duo, so Nintendo decided to keep them in the game for all regions. Sakurai left HAL Laboratory in 2003. Despite this, Nintendo president Satoru Iwata told him they wanted Sakurai back as the director if they ever made a third installment of Super Smash Bros. The announcement of a new Super Smash Bros. Game in 2005 came as a surprise to Sakurai, as he hadn't been contacted by Nintendo before the announcement, leading him to not know if Nintendo even wanted him involved with the game. Iwata requested a private meeting with Sakurai after the game was announced, where Sakurai was asked to be the game's director. Sakurai agreed, and development of Super Smash Bros. Brawl began in October 2005. In an interview with IGN, Sakurai said the Wii's motion sensing features probably wouldn't be included in Brawl because his team had trouble making the motion controls work. This was presumably because the technology was imprecise, and Super Smash Bros. Requires precise controls. Instead, the game's focus was on the Wii's online capabilities. Brawl was originally intended as a launch title for the Wii and was going to emphasize the difference between the GameCube and the Wii with online, similar to how Melee showcased full-motion video and graphics that couldn't be achieved on the N64. Another new addition in Brawl were the Final Smashes. According to Iwata, Sakurai intended Final Smashes to appear in the original Super Smash Bros. On the N64. They were removed due to hardware limitations, but audio evidence of them still exists in Super Smash Bros. ROM. Ness can be heard saying PK and Star Storm. PK Star Storm is the final smash of both Lucas and Ness in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Super Smash Bros. Melee's motion sensor bomb has left some fans confused. Its appearance strongly resembles the proximity mines in GoldenEye 007 on the N64, and in Europe it's flat-out named Proximity Mine, but the trophy description says it's from the game Top Secret. Looking at the Japanese version of Melee, the model is completely different, and instead of Top Secret, the mines are said to be from Perfect Dark. This can also be seen in screenshots of the early English versions. It's thought these changes were made gradually as a result of Rare being acquired by Microsoft. This theory states that because Nintendo no longer had any claim to the Perfect Dark franchise, the model was changed to resemble the proximity mines in GoldenEye. This caused more problems as Nintendo couldn't say it was from GoldenEye, as Nintendo doesn't own the license to GoldenEye or anything James Bond. Another theory for the change is that because Perfect Dark was an M-rated game, its inclusion could have affected Melee's ESRB rating. What's confusing, however, is that the Perfect Dark name appears in the game's credits anyway. The Japanese version of the game also had different trophies for the Topies from Ice Climber. In the international versions of Melee, the Topies are a type of Yeti-looking creature, but in Japan, they are seals. This is because of a change made in the original NES version of Ice Climber. The Topi seals were redesigned outside of Japan, and it's believed this was due to seal clubbing. Seal clubbing is a sensitive subject in North America and Europe, but is a practically non-existent issue in Japan. There are also several trophies that only appeared in the Japanese versions of Melee. Some of these trophies can be found in the North American version's data fully translated. One of them is of the character Tamagon from the Famicom and NES game Devil World. Devil World never released in North America, so it makes sense that this trophy was removed. What's strange, however, is that Devil World actually released in Europe as well as Japan, but didn't make it into the European version of the game. In fact, the trophy data seems to have been completely removed from the European version of Melee. The other two trophies are of Mario and Yoshi and an unmasked Samus Aran. These These trophies were given away at events in Japan. The player would bring a memory card containing a Super Smash Bros. Melee save file with them, and a participating vendor would write the trophy data onto the memory card. The fact that they're translated has led some to believe Nintendo plans similar events in North America. The wall jump ability Pichu uses in Super Smash Bros. Melee is used by Pikachu in Brawl. Pikachu in Brawl also knows the ability Volt Tackle, which can only be learned during the Pichu stage of its family evolution. These techniques, along with the fact that Pichu's alternate blue goggles costume in Melee now belongs to Pikachu in Brawl, have led some players to believe that Pikachu in Brawl and Pichu from Melee are the same Pokemon, and that Pichu simply evolved and took the old Pikachu's place in Brawl. Sometimes while playing Event 39 Jigglypuff Live in Melee, the screen in the background of the stadium will focus on your Jigglypuff. If you use the move Sing at this very moment, all the other Jigglypuffs on the ground will fall asleep, and for much longer than usual. This Easter egg can only be found in Event 39. 39 may also be a reference to Jigglypuff itself, as 39 is Jigglypuff's number in the Pokemon National Dex. In Super Smash Bros. Brawl, in the ice stage of the Pokemon Stadium 2 arena, if you peek inside of the shack, you'll be able to see a poster of a white kitten. This is thought to be the director Masahiro Sakurai's pet cat. That's all for today, but don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Make sure you also check out DidYouKnowGaming.com, where we post gaming trivia every single day. If you like this video, check out our other videos. And if you want some top 10 action, check out my top 10 most captivating songs in gaming. I'm sure it will captivate your hearts.